Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com, and today I'm going to bring you a review of the Evader. This is Abs, who is a stakes player of ours. He's been struggling a little bit, going up and down. He was doing really well. I think his confidence took a bit of a hit. I think he's, balancing a lot, grinding. And I think we just basically need to reassure him that he's doing well, and to just see if we can find any leaks. So straight off the bat here, we've got pocket nines and we've flopped, top set on a very wet board. I'd be expecting to go pretty big here, around 120, 110. I think 160 might be a bit too big. I think that's a bit too vicious of a bet. I do understand his logic that it is a very wet board, but when someone opens and checks to you, they're not going to be, really getting out of line once you pot it. If you make it like 120, 130, you might get a bit of action there. And it's not the worst thing ever, getting some action or allowing someone, to check raise, bluff you, or to check raise you in their mind for value with overpairs. It's a little bit smaller, but I do understand his logic there. As you can see, he's got the lockdown avatar. If anyone wants to participate in a lockdown, make sure you check out the forum in the battleground. Get yourself in, it's just free money, added prizes. It'd be great if Ab showed up for one and really smashed it one day. I think he placed in a sprint or a Sunday smash recently, and I think he won a prize for that. So yeah, if you want any free t-shirts or tournament dollars, head on over. Make sure you check out the forum in general. And if anyone watching this wants to become staked, go to our homepage. You can PM me, you can ask on the forum, or you can just go to the apply now box on the bottom right hand corner of the homepage. So not a lot of action that Abs has been in yet, but there seems to be a lot of money flying around. He's marking people as fish. A guy's calling off with 8 deuce on an 8-9 jack and was actually ahead, weirdly. But it's quite nice to see that people are shipping it in with straight draws on paired flops, and people are calling with bottom pairs. So it looks like Abs has got some nice tables up here. And yeah, it looks like the two on the right are anonymous tables, so that'll be no reads. Queen 8 suited there, I do not understand that fold. I'll just rewind because I was just busy talking. Yeah, Queen 8 suited here. We're in the big blind. We've got Queen 8 suited, a hand that plays well, can flop well. And someone's min raising the button. Well, we should know how wide we min raise the button, right? So Queen 8 suited, how does that play against, those hands? Well, it actually plays pretty well. So we should be calling here, maybe 3-betting, but I personally call because the hand's big enough to do so and flops well enough. So I think that's a really bad fold there, and that's probably a leak that we're going to pick up on. I really would have expected him to not have folded that one. So yeah, the two on the right hand side are anonymous, no stats. Two on the left side of the screen are regular tables. The 4-8 here, I think it's definitely fine to just check down and hope to go to showdown. I think we can be ahead. Looks like he's value betting to get a 7 to call him, which is maybe fine. I personally would have just checked and gone to showdown, or allowed someone to bet and then we can call. Queen 4 on the button here, I'll just be min raising. Ace Queen under the gun, nice open. I get pretty jealous when I'm watching these because the BV software is pretty sick and the games are so soft. Here I'd be going for about 2/3 of the pot C-bet, 50-60. I'm just going for 80 here. I think it's just way too big. I just don't get it at all. We've opened the button, we've been flatted. The fact that someone has a hand that can call us or play back at us is almost impossible. Let's just not bet pot too often. I didn't see what happened with this ace 4. Pre-flop he should be 3-betting or folding, calling's bad. And on a flop like this, if he took the lead pre-flop, he should be C-betting, or he should be check raising these, and I'd be check raising it to about 170, 180. Again, I think this is just too big. I think he's putting people off playing hands versus him, basically. Why are we trying to get people to fold? because these bet sizes show huge strength, and we do have huge strength. So why are we showing it? Let's think about what hands they can have. Let's not be too scared about draws. Let's just look at getting value for our big hands. Queen 5 should be an open. Jack deuce should be a fold. Ace 3 suited, definitely be opening that in the cutoff. Jack 6, blind v blind versus a fish, fine to open. But if they are defending a lot, I think we can go ahead and fold Jack 6 pre-flop. Just doesn't flop very well. I'll be looking to bet this turn, delayed C bet. I think we can rep a queen quite nicely. Looks like Abs is just totally shutting down on this pot. Yeah, I think when he goes check on a flop, we should really be leading a lot of turns there, especially a queen. It's definitely within our range, and because our opponent's shown no aggression pre-flop or post-flop, I think we should be trying to take these pots down a little bit. Although it is fine to open blind v blind and check fold, nothing wrong with that. But after it goes check, let's try and take the pot down. Ace 10 here, I'll be looking to float this fishy lead. We have running draws and an overcard, and this guy could be bombing into a draw himself. Interesting turn card. Definitely takes a couple of hands out of this guy's range. Adds another draw. I'll be looking to call the turn as well. We've called the flop, thinking we're ahead, so we should be calling the turn because it's changed nothing. If by Ab's phone there, he's thinking the guy definitely has a jack or a 9 or better. I think that's somewhat unlikely. I think it's more just draws or bluffs. Pocket 6 is against this fishy guy. I'm probably happy to see bet with the intention that this guy probably hasn't hit this board too often, although it is a board that can connect, but I think this guy calls really wide pre-flop. We've seen it in a pot with 8 deuce and so on, so we could have taken it down, and also we can get called by worse, so hey ho, not the worst thing in the world. I like his check on the turn there when the 10 falls off, and I'll probably just be checked back, hope to go down to showdown. We ran into queen deuce. King 9 suited is 3-betting. I don't know what the reason why he's 3-betting this is. It's definitely not a hand we should be calling with pre. So I think his general logic will be the button's been raised, we have a suited king, the button's open with not a lot, so I'll 3-bet and take it down pre-flop. And that's definitely fine to do, and a nice line there. Here if the ace 10 suited, I'm happy to fold once we've c-bet and been raised. I think it's a bit too adventurous to play back or call. Jack queen suited, I'll be making it 80. Yep, very nice. And I think that's the thing with Abs. His real fundamentals are pretty solid. I just think it's the sort of the thinking and making a plan and understanding that if we do certain things, other people do certain things, how do we then react, such as that queen 8 suited at the start of the video. The queen here, I think we can keep on barreling, and if we bet the turn, I think we go for quite a big bet on the river to get sort of 8-9, 8-10, Jack-10, Jack-9 to fold. Because I think on a turn like this, if the villain has a set or 2-pair or a straight, he will raise. So we can be pretty comfortable betting a lot of the rivers. This river is quite interesting. A flush gets there and a straight gets there. I would personally go for quite a big bet here, close to pot. I think a lot of people lead straights and lead flushes. And I think we can definitely start to get 2 pairs, maybe Jack 10 to fold. And I really like this bet size by Abs. Very nice. I think we rep it quite well. Yep, very nice. Definitely on the same wavelength there, and I really like the fact that he had conviction. I'd just be flatting with this Jack Queen suited. It's a paired board. We don't have, the nuts. Someone can definitely have it, so I'd just be going for quite an easy flat call here. I think this is too thin. I don't think we get called by worse. Maybe versus this Aslan guy, but the Geno X guy can definitely have us beat here. So I think that was a pretty bad jam overall. Unless he was doing it to be a genius to get the ace high flush to fold, but I think in these games that isn't going to happen. I think we're just going to get called by worse, or get called by better or get worse to fold. I think it's just the pot's big enough. It's a big jam. We are effective stacks with Geno. Just go ahead and make a pretty standard call there, buddy. I think you got a little bit lucky there, not getting snapped off. Versus a fish, I'd be happy to 3-bet 10s, but I'd also be fine flatting it. I think his sizing's really big, and he's probably doing that because the guy's a fish, which is fine, but generally, 3x, 3.5x should be the biggest. And on a board like this, I'd be, c-betting really small. Love his logic here. 140 is a perfect size c-bet. And the reason it's perfect is basically it does exactly the same job as... Oh, he's changed his mind. Yeah, he bored it a little bit there. I would have personally stayed at where he was. It was great sizing. And the reason it's great sizing is it does the same job. It's such a dry board that this guy is, going to fold a lot. He might call with worse. And yeah, it basically, if we're bluffing in future spots, with Jack Queen suited, for example, we can, we can bet small and take the pot down. Queen 10 blind v blind here. I would be raising, and yeah, that tens. I think when we get raised on those flops, it's really tough to fold, but we are behind a lot of the time. But once he called, he didn't get fancy, so that was fine. He just had a read on a guy that he's bluffing. But generally, I find in spots like that, we're just not getting bluffed. Ace 9 deuce 3-bet pot versus a fish who's min raised and it's rainbow. They generally just have it, so go easy there. Queen 10, yep, really like the delayed c-bet here. We could also check as well, because worse hands might bet the river and we can call a Queen 10 high. Only Queen Jack is the no pair, the no pair hand that beats us. Sorry, that's a lie. We chop with Queen Jack. Interesting here. It'd be such a sight. I don't think raising's good at all. Jesus, absolutely just mental. I think we can call. Because we think this guy's got nothing, then what's the point of raising? Queen high, is pretty big. But this is just such a fist pump fold on the river when we get led into. Like, the last thing we want to be doing is raising. Like, what's this guy going to fold that beats us? A king? No. An ace? No. A 6? No. So what are we trying to get him to fold? Hands that we beat? His misdraws? Just make a call, you're in position. You're really just making life really tough for yourself there. These fish... Like, what's he got? Like, I don't get what Abs is trying to get to fold there. Like, if you could leave a comment, we have, the nuts. We have the nut no pair. So if we think this guy's got a missed flush draw, then we can call the one. We get a good price. It's probably profitable versus that kind of player. The ace 9 suited here, I'll be looking to raise, get it heads up versus the fish guy. Again, I think this is too big. I think 180's plenty. I think we're just risking a lot of our stack here. And bloating pots, because especially if this May is calling, we're going to miss a lot. And personally, I'd check this flop. I wouldn't be c-betting. I think this guy can definitely have hands that hit these kind of boards. I think it's going to be really tough for us to play on future streets, and I think it's sort of bordering on spazzy. We can check call 4 Jack 6. We can check fold of 4 Jack 6. And again, here is bet sizing. It's just too big. Like, we now can't bluff any rivers, because if he calls, the turn he's going to call the river, unless he's, just completely airballing a flush. And I think like 520 does the same. I think 480 probably does the same. If the guy calls us with a flush draw, well, we're ahead. We're getting value for the ace high. But yeah, it's just horrible, horrible spot. And now look, like, if we had a hand, like, we're just giving him such a huge price. The guy will be getting 5 to 1 on a jam. Abs did give up, which I'm pretty happy he gave up. I think we should have given up on the flop there. Or well, at least not giving up, but not just going mental with our, huge bets. And now we're sat here with ace high with €7 and the pot's €25. It's, we're just losing so much money, and we're just getting absolutely tortured, torture chamber. And now Ab's up thinking, well, can this guy have 5-7 off? Like, because he's getting 10-1. It's like, what do we do? Can we ever have the best hand? The answer's no, sadly not. Even getting such a good price, and we're just getting totally owned. And I know like Abs might be thinking, well, he has called me with the 10 high flush draw 2 streets. So yeah, but we could check call there maybe. If this guy's going to be bombing, if this guy's going to be checking. Or maybe, if we guaranteed this guy's a 10 high flush draw, we jam the turn. Because the problem is on the river, it's just going to be a real tough spot to play. And, obviously that's being results orientated. The guy could just have, a jack set, 2 pair. So, interesting one there. I think we just need to work on bet sizings and, not going as mental. These games, we have a lot of players who haven't played for as long as Abs, or kind of just getting into it, and they're playing very ABC, just very tight, very aggressive, not doing anything fancy, and are just rinsing the games because they are that soft. You really don't need to do anything special at 10 and 20 NL. And I know that kind of sounds boring, and I know a lot of people get into poker, to do what they see on TV, or to do what they see their mates doing, or to see what they see on a coaching video. But sometimes just stealing blinds, getting the old 3-bet steal in, C betting, value betting a little bit higher. Those are the things that will really print you the money at these stakes. I like his open here with the ace-8 offsuit in the cutoff, very good. And it's great to see that he's making notes. It's something everyone needs to do. And you can see that he's also making notes on his holder manager at the end of sessions, because they're all highlighted and color coded. And that'll definitely just make Abs money. He now knows, what people are doing. And he'll be absolutely devastated the guy's sitting out. The guy's got 500 big blinds and he's left the game. So I'm sure Abs will be tilting his nuts off right now. Ace-10 here, I think versus a fish who opens so often, we're fine to call. In position, we should never be 3xing, especially when the guy's short. And I say we'd never, I mean, it's not the worst thing. I'd just go a little bit smaller. We're trying to isolate this guy. Let's just make it 140. It does the same job. We don't need to risk as much money. To be honest, I checked back this flop. I think betting generally just gets worse to fold, or better to call. So I did checked back and called a lot of turn raises. And this turn I'd bet tiny. I'd bet like 2. I think 5, will put someone off putting all their money in. And yeah, same thing again. We really need to think about like what these guys are calling with. So we're going to bet half a guy's stack when the worst card in the world has fallen for them. And it's a card that we actually wanted, and that has improved our hands to what we think is the nuts. So why don't we just bet 2? Why don't we check and go for river value? Why put a guy, basically why put a guy to a decision for his entire stack? Because that's essentially what it's doing. Like, this guy's like, oh, do I have to go with it now, or can I fold? And I like to bet there on the turn on table 3 for protection. And yeah, I'm pretty fine with calling the river. But I think we should bet the turn and just take the pot down. Don't let anything get there. Because, pretty much every hand has equity versus us. 10's here out of position versus an aggro guy. I'm definitely cool with calling. And then this is where it gets difficult. Because a lot of people are like, oh, maybe I should check raise. Maybe I should check fold. What do I do? I think we take it easy and we go for a check call. So another good turn card for us. And when I say good, it's because it's another undercard. And this is basically where you need to go for your reads. Now, I've not been at these tables. I've only been watching this for 15 minutes like you guys. This guy has seemed very aggressive. So, personally, what would I be doing? Probably putting on my seatbelt and calling him down. On this river, if the guy bets, he's either going for really thin value, thinking that we can call him with a pair, or he's trying to rep a straight. With this jam, looks like he's trying to rep a straight to me, which he could definitely have. I don't know what he's 3-betting. So I'll leave this down to Abs's read on him and how the game's been flowing. Are we getting bullied here? Are we repping one pair or a misdraw? Would this guy jam a misdraw? Yeah, I mean, probably would. Does he have many straights? Not as many as we do. So it could be one of those spots to hero. And sadly, the guy's a very good player, and that's someone we really want to take notice of. He's value jammed aces there, and he's made it look pretty bluffy, and it's worth a treat. So what a player! I can't really knock him for that. I personally am fine with the call. I think I would have made the call as well, because at these levels people aren't generally that good to jam over pairs. They all just snap check back. So this guy's just repping a straight. So I think I've played that hand well. But I think the other guy played it better, and that's not taken away from Abs, but the fact that guy had a brain to really go with it there is it's not something you really see at these stakes too often. Versus this lead with 6-7 of diamonds, I just call, and with the king 10 I'm betting pretty big. This is a spot where yes, I do want to kind of put this guy to a decision because it's such a wet board. I would actually be quite fine with jamming. And the reason I say jamming is pot betting is pretty much the same. 6-7 suited here, I'm just flatting, raising has no purpose. People can definitely be leading us into us with better draws and better flushes, so I'm just flatting this river, and again I just don't understand these jams with his really weak flushes. Really don't get them. That time it worked out well because the guy made 3 of a kind threes, but generally mate, I really think you've got to stop jamming. Flushes, I think you're maybe overrating them a little bit. I think we really need to just chill out a little bit. Ace king here, yep, 2 seems fine. Let's pump some value in there. It's getting a little bit wetter. And yeah, it's like one of these horrible things where you're doing a coaching video and the results is, oh, a guy called with a set, he rivered a set. But generally, people are going to call with better and fold worse, and that guy was just, a bit of a punter and went for it. Although saying that, maybe I'm wrong, because maybe that guy was a complete fish. I'm just looking at his stats now. Maybe it is fine to jam there, but it's 7 high flush, nah. Pot's massive, not much back. General thinking that people aren't going to be, getting involved there. I think I still just go for a flat call. I think he's been very lucky in 2 spots here with the Jack Queen of Hearts where everyone folded, and that one where the guy just randomly led 3 streets and made a set, and was kind of hooked into calling. But I think long term we're going to really going to see a lot of higher flushes and full houses and whatever. He's changing tables, and as you can see, he's got a sexy Poker VIP background. If you want one, just go to our referral material next to the My Account drop down. He's also using the lockdown avatar. You can find that from there also. Interesting there. Abs 3-betting Jack King suited, and the guy just piling it all in, 100 bigs. Good fold there, Abs. It's great to see that people are playing this crazy though. Ace 10 suited on the button versus an undergun mid stack. I would personally flat. I think folding's probably fine. I think 3-betting's bad. This guy looks pretty tight. He's mid stacked. I think we're in position. I don't think we really need to do this. And I think it was again here. I don't get why we 3-betting so big. We are a little bit deep. I think 2's the maximum we should be 3-betting here. I think with aces though, we can just 3x it. I think we can just make it 180 and just get this guy to call a lot, and let's be totally cool with that. On a board like a king 2-8, I'd be betting pretty small. I'd be betting like half pot. Looks like Abs is going for a check. I'm not too sure of why. If he check raises, our hand looks super strong, so I'd expect him to be taking a check call line now, assuming that this guy is someone who is going to be, betting versus us. But he's going for a check 3x, which looks very strong. So I think we're only going to get, it's just making no sense to me, any of this. It's like he just wants folds. It's like he's doing everything he can to make his nut hands look like the nuts. We really need to think about this and sort it out quickly, because there's so many spots here where you've not had the nuts and you've jammed and can get called by worse. And there's so many times where you had the nuts where you've made it so people can't play back at you, kind of thing. Check raise 3x. I think that just looks like the nuts to me. Like, what's the guy going to do there? If he's got ace king, yeah, he'll probably give you the money, but so it's going to really just make a lot of his hands fold that will probably call you for a couple of streets. Or if we do check there, check call the flop, and maybe check call the turn, and maybe check raise the river if you want to take that kind of line. He's making notes again, great to see. A lot of you might be thinking, well, why is he making notes on anonymous tables? Well, what happens is when they leave the anonymous table, the tags go as well. So that's just him, reminding that is the guy who did that. And it's a great note to have on someone that he is pretty sick. Be great. It would be really good to know if that was like another stake player of ours who is just like really just beasting people with aces in those spots. And it might seem really standard to quite a lot of you, but it's actually not that much of a standard line. People check back there at these stakes. People get pretty scared. Not a lot of people going for the massive value jam. Ace 10 I'd be opening here. I'd be calling here with the ace 10. We're getting 10 to 1. Yes, well, just over 10 to 1. There is a player behind us, but I think ace 10 we've got to call. And then just, assess future streets or see what the guy behind us does. And when this happens, I'm just pretty happy to ditch my hand. It's just hard for us to play, and we kind of just get ourselves into a pretty funky spot. We're kind of praying an ace for a turn. Yeah, ace for a 10 peels off, or that it goes to showdown and we see 7-8. But a lot of time we're just going to get bombed into, and a lot of time this guy's just going to have a better hand than ace 10 off. And we're out of position. It's just a very easy fold on the flop. Yep. And the thing is, like, if Abs is putting him on nothing on the flop, then the king is a really good card for us, because the guy probably doesn't have a king. He probably just has, the 8-9 high or the 9-10 high or something. So we should be calling it again. So just the float on the flop makes no sense if we're going to just fold the turn. But generally on the flop we should just be folding. Okay, so not a lot seems to be going on, so we'll call it a video there. There's only a few minutes left of Abs' video. Keep it under 30 minutes. It seems like quite a lot of the hands there I was getting a bit mad at, and generally just not agreeing with. Bet sizings need to change quickly, pre-flop and post-flop. We need to understand what people are calling with, what it's making people look like we have, what people can actually play back at us with. Do people play back at us? We then need to, keep on pounding the button that we're doing. Our opening range looks good. Make sure we're not just, 3-betting for no reason and clicking buttons. Having a real, good solid. I'm 3-betting because of this, and that reason to 3-bet is generally people fold to the 3-bet. So, we can 3-bet wide and, win the pot pre-flop, or people call out a position with worse. It should be pretty much as simple as that. But yeah, generally, like, the ground up is fine. I think absolutely you're just getting a little bit too adventurous. You're trying to force things. You're trying to really just pound money in the pot. But as you can see, it's not working out. So pull it back a little bit. Getting €1 is better than getting no euro. Like, think about it like that. So you're making it 250 when it's 250 in the pot and we've got the nuts. Maybe we just make it 1 and get called. Because getting folds doesn't benefit us. If we've got nothing, then yeah, play. Maybe that's the thing you should be doing. When you have nothing, play like you've got something, and when you've got something, play like you've got nothing. Like as you're doing now, because your bet sizes change, and when you've got nothing, you're generally getting outplayed or called. But when you've got something, you're just getting folds. So maybe change around what you're doing there, and just think about it like that. But anyway, keep on trucking. Like I told you, I've got a lot of faith in you. I'm pretty sure we're still going to get you to the mid stakes this year. We just need to sort these things out. So yeah, work on that and good luck at the tables. This is John for pokervip.com.